What's up everyone, Nicholas here, and in this video I want to cover the exact process I use to create short form social media video content so that you can either copy exactly what I do or learn from it and adapt it to your own style. Now, I don't think I need to get into the details as to why it is important to create short form social media content. I think we all know this is a huge opportunity right now to create authentic, relevant content with you in the video because we are moving into this world of artificial content and synthetic media and AI content, and it's just making it even more important to create an authentic personal brand. You know, I've experimented with the whole AI clone thing. I've made videos about it. Some of those videos have blown up, and I still am uncomfortable creating AI content. I think there's an inauthenticity to it, but at the same time, I understand the importance of learning it and knowing how it works, especially so that you can identify that type of media. That's another topic for another time and place, but in this video, I just want to re-emphasize the importance of creating authentic content that has you at the forefront of the brand. So with that being said, here's my exact process for how I think about short form content and what I do step by step. So first, I always start with big ideas. Now, whatever your brand is, you don't want to just jump around and randomly pick things out of thin air to talk about. You want to be known for 1, 2, or 3 main things. You want to be an expert in your space, whether that is you're a realtor and you cover a specific geographic location, or maybe you cover luxury real estate, or maybe you cover new construction, or maybe like me, you're a marketer. So for me, I try to blend marketing with AI and I apply it to local service businesses. So the content I create, I try to make it apply to the middle of this diagram. So whatever it is, you need to figure out what your big ideas are. What are those big buckets that all of your content can be put into? Because if you don't do that, then your content's going to be very sporadic and it's just not going to make a lot of sense to people. You don't want to be in that situation. After I have my big ideas, and those usually don't change, that's when I start thinking about video ideas, right? And this is something that happens all the time where I'll just be doing something else and I'll have an idea for a video and I'll just jot it down on a notepad and I'll come back to it later when it's time to record. So always be thinking about specific video ideas that you want to create and how it relates back to your big ideas. And one big idea can have multiple video ideas. You don't have to just do one video for every idea. I've done dozens and dozens of ideas on the importance of understanding your audience, for instance, which is one big idea, a big marketing idea, but then I've created multiple short form videos off of that idea. So once you have your video idea for a specific video that you want to shoot, you need to come up with your script. Now, even if you're not going to be using a teleprompter and you're just going to sort of be riffing off of this like I am doing now, I'm not using a teleprompter, you still want to have a script to help you think about the idea in a clear and concise way. You don't want to ramble, because if you ramble, it's just going to affect the engagement level of that video. So I always recommend having a script and have it written in your style and have it written where there's a hook, there's some substance in the middle, and then there's something at the end that wraps it up nicely, concludes with a call to action, a question, something. So there's a process to it. And don't make it too long. Don't start with a long intro of, hi, I'm so-and-so from XYZ Realty. That doesn't work. You want to have something that gets right to the point, has that hook in the beginning, gets to the valuable part, whether it's educational, entertaining, intriguing, whatever. And then it concludes with some natural ending of the video. And remember, these are short form videos. So we're talking 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute and 30 seconds, maybe at the most, but we're not talking about a full long form video like this. So after you have your script, now it's time to record. Now, I use a variety of different tools, and I wish there was an all-in-one for this, but I've used many different tools over the years. Right now, my toolbox consists of CapCut, Descript, Tela, and Tela is what I'm recording with right now, and captions.ai. This is sort of a rare situation where I like to experiment with different tools for different purposes. It sort of fits my brand because I'm always doing these review videos and sharing different tools. If you're looking for just one tool to get started with, I would probably go with CapCut. I know some people don't like it with the whole privacy situation that's going on, so make sure to look into the privacy concerns if that is something that affects you. But if you are comfortable using CapCut, I feel like it's the easiest tool to learn at the moment, and it can probably do the most things. So now I have my idea, I have my script, and I'm ready to record. So let's say I'm going to record in CapCut. If it's short form content, sometimes I'll use the camera that I'm using now, which is my DSLR, but most often I'm just recording on my phone and then I'm going to do the editing on my desktop. One of the cool things about CapCut is that they do have a teleprompter built in. I don't know if it's on the paid plan or not. I do recommend the paid plan. It's just going to be a much more professional tool set. It's going to give you more features and functionality, no watermark, and I think that's going to speak volumes when you are creating professional content that reflects you and your brand. After I do the recording, I will then move into the editing process, which I'll show you. Super easy to do, especially using CapCut. And then finally, I'll add some captions. And then the last step is to either publish or schedule the content. Sometimes I'll publish it right then and there. Other times I'll schedule it out using something like High Level, or in our case, our version of High Level, which is called Earnworthy Amplify. There are other scheduling platforms out there that I recommend, such as Vista Social, if you want one that is specifically geared towards social media publishing and you're not already using High Level or Earnworthy Amplify, then Vista Social would be my go-to. But because High Level and Earnworthy Amplify has social scheduling built in, that's what I use most often. But sometimes I'll just post the video right then and there, so I don't need to worry about scheduling, especially if it's something to do with current events, which takes us into the next part of this video, where I want to walk you through the process of a specific video idea that I have. I'm going to show you exactly what I'll be doing step by step to take that from idea into finished product. So when it comes to ideas, I think it's important to have different ways of thinking about how you can help your audience. This is super critical. You don't want your videos to be about you. You want your videos to be about your audience and how you can help them. And yes, you're in the video, so don't get me wrong and think if the video is not about me, I don't have to be in it. You still need to be in the video, but you don't want it to be about you. You want it to be about the value you deliver to your audience. And so some general ideas you can think about is it something that's helpful? Is it something that's relevant? Or maybe is it something that's funny? It doesn't have to be all three of these things, but this helps you figure out if something is an angle you want to go down for a specific idea. In this case, something I'm thinking about right now is the whole situation with Cracker Barrel and the rebrand. I think that's relevant because it's in current events right now. So if it's relevant, how is it relevant to the audience? Well, I want to reach local service businesses, and I want to also help businesses learn from larger brands. So that is a direct correlation between what's going on with the whole Cracker Barrel rebrand situation and how it can affect my audience. To take it a step further, we went from something that's relevant and how local businesses can learn from big brands, and then more specifically, the importance of listening to your customers. That's the main takeaway I would want to have my audience get out of a video if I were to do one about this whole Cracker Barrel rebrand. And we're gonna see how this all works out in a minute. So you can see here, I had this idea for this Cracker Barrel rebrand short form video. I sort of made it work based on the goals that I'm looking to achieve and what I want my audience to get out of it. And it seems like it's a good fit. So let's roll with this idea for doing a short form video on the Cracker Barrel rebrand. So I'm just going to be using my iPhone. I'm going to try to record the screen so you can see what happens. But basically, I'm just going to open up CapCut. I already have a script that I created using a variety of AI tools. For this particular one, I recommend using Perplexity because this is a current event. So if you use something like ChatGPT to help you with your script, it's not going to have as relevant of information as something like Perplexity, which is more of an AI search engine. So what I did is I just went back and forth, and it's not something I just put in, hey, make a script for the Cracker Barrel rebrand. I went back and forth and I said, give me some examples of brands that may have refreshed their brand, but then they got a lot of public backlash and they reverted back, right? And I wanted to go back and forth with Perplexity to come up with a script that would be on tone with what I want to cover and not just some AI garbage that everyone else is producing. So I have a script that I'm pretty happy with now, and I loaded it up in the teleprompter feature of CapCut. And this is not like a CapCut tutorial. There's plenty of information out there on CapCut. If you want to learn how to use the teleprompter, just search for CapCut teleprompter. But I don't want this video to be too long. So I have it loaded up here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to record directly on my device using the forward-facing camera, and I'm going to basically read the teleprompter, and I'll show you the finished result right after this. Have you seen the new Cracker Barrel logo? After almost 50 years, they just dropped their classic design for a super modern look, and social media is not having it. But you know what? I actually think Cracker Barrel will revert back to something closer to their old branding. Why? Because honestly, big brands have made this mistake before, and they listened. Remember New Coke in the 1980s? It was a huge disaster. People freaked out, and so Coke brought back Coca-Cola Classic, and then everyone cheered. Then of course there's the Gap, which changed its logo in 2010, and backlash was so fast and intense, they scrapped it after just 1 week. Cracker Barrel might have just handed themselves a gift. Now they have the ear of the consumer. If they listen and roll back the rebrand, they get to look like heroes. We heard you. We care about your tradition. that's a positive thing. So what do you think? Do you think Cracker Barrel should bring back the old look? Would you actually go there? Would you actually go there more often? If you did, drop a comment below. Let me know your take. Okay, so you see there, I even messed up at the end. I'm just gonna roll with it. I like to do one take and then I'll edit it out in post-production. So now what I'm gonna do is on my CapCut app, I'm simply going to send this file to my desktop. I usually use AirDrop. You can do it a number of different ways, but I need to get this file open in the CapCut desktop app. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so here we are in the CapCut desktop app. I've imported the file from my phone. I pushed it over via AirDrop. I'm going to drag it into the editor. And again, I don't want this to be too long a video, so I'm going to kind of skip some stuff since there's a lot of really good CapCut tutorials. There are even experts locally here on the Treasure Coast that specialize in CapCut, but I just want to give you a basic general overview of what I typically do when I'm recording or editing a video in CapCut. So with the first thing I'm going to do is fix the audio. So I like to go over to audio and normalize the loudness and click this little enhance voice. Now that this is done, the next thing I like to do is use the transcript mode, which is very similar to Descript. I think they're trying to compete with Descript. That really was the first one to do this. And what this is going to do, it's going to transcribe the video so then I can do some transcript based editing. I can also cut out some silences. So anything here that's in gray like this, I'm just going to delete, and I'm just going to read through this and see if I need to take anything out. And this is also something you can potentially do with AI, but what I like to do is cut out the gaps so that there are jump cuts and I'm not letting people just hang on dead air basically. Okay, things are looking good so far. So I'm just going to add some animations. I'll do a fade out. And for the intro, I'm going to pick this rock vertically just to give it a little more momentum. And those first few seconds of your video are the most important. So you want to create a little more energy with the intro. I'm going to add some music here. And the music, what's really important with music is you don't want it to overpower the video. This is one of the most frequently done mistakes that I see people make, where the music is way too loud. So I'm going to normalize it. I'm going to turn it way down. I want to be able to barely hear it. I'm going to have it fade in, fade out, and let's give that a listen. Looking good so far. I'm going to add a few sound effects. So over here, you can save sound effects, which is pretty cool. I'm just going to add this transition sound to the beginning of the video. One other thing I just did is I added some logos here to the media library so I can now drag them onto the timeline at the right points. This is going to help make the video more engaging, and it'll just create some visual cues and things that people can see on screen as I refer to the different logos. Okay, I added in some graphics. As you can see now, as I go through the video, it's going to update with some imagery. As I mentioned, Tropicana, New Coke, Gap, and the Cracker Barrel logo. That as I transition from image to image, there's just a nice little subtle sound effect in the background. Okay, I'm pretty happy with it. This was a very rough cut. I didn't refine anything. I didn't remove the backgrounds from the images. I didn't add some dynamic animations to the intro and outro of each image. You can do all that. You can create a lot more than what I've done here, but I wanted to just show you that it's not so much about the editing. As long as you have good audio and you have a good hook and you're actually delivering something valuable, whether it's entertaining, educational, and it's on brand and it's something relevant to your audience, and going back to those big ideas, it's something that is one of those core ideas that you want to be known for, then this is pretty much good enough. So you want to not get frozen in this paralysis of creating perfect content, because then you're not going to create enough content, because you do have to produce a lot of content for social media to really have an impact. You can't just be doing one video a month. I try to do 2 to 3 videos a week. A lot of people do 1 a day. So you want to get the numbers up, right? You want to pump those numbers up. The last step is either to publish it across your social channels, or you can schedule it using a tool like High Level or Earnworthy Amplify, or if you just need a scheduling tool, then something like Vista Social is really good. So that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful just to show you behind the scenes of my process. And if you have any questions at all, put them in the comments below. And make sure to hit that subscribe button, because I share tutorials for small businesses who want to learn more about marketing and AI all the time in a very relevant and simple way. So I hope to see you in the next video. Oh, and here is the final version of that video that I just edited so you can see what it looks like. Have you seen the new Cracker Barrel logo? After almost 50 years, they just dropped their classic design for a super modern look, and social media is not having it. But you know what? I actually think Cracker Barrel will revert back to something closer to their old branding. Why? Because honestly, big brands have made this mistake before. Remember New Coke in the 1980s? It was a huge disaster. People freaked out, and so Coke brought back Coca-Cola Classic, and then everyone cheered. Or Tropicana, which totally changed their original orange juice packaging, and then sales plummeted, and people hated it, and they went back to their old design in just a few months. Then, of course, there's The Gap, which changed its logo in 2010, and backlash was so fast and intense, they scrapped it after just 1 week. Cracker Barrel might have just handed themselves a gift. Now they have the ear of the consumer. If they listen and roll back the rebrand, they get to look like heroes. We heard you. We care about your tradition. That's a positive thing. So what do you think? Do you think Cracker Barrel should bring back the old look? Drop a comment below. Let me know your take.